Hey, this is just an off-the-cuff video. It's just something completely random. So I was going through some old floppy disks that I've had since I was really small. Like, I'm talking like maybe 6 or 7 years old. Back when I used to live with my parents when I was, so of course I lived with my parents when I was 6. But anyway, so my dad would type stories that I spoke to him because I didn't have the skills to type. So I just discovered one of these stories, and obviously I was into the Fantastic Four at the time, so yeah, I managed to write, well, with my dad's help, a Fantastic Four story. The funny thing is I actually remember sitting on the bed with my dad at the computer, typing this as I spoke it, and me jumping about the bed like a fucking mad 6-year-old. I remember doing this. So, the full transcript is in the description, but I'm gonna read it to you. Here we go. I've decided I'm gonna go full voiceover on this. So let's give it a go, shall we? Here we go. Please ignore the music in the background. There is a band rehearsing in the other room. Hey, here we go. The Fantastic Four by Stuart CROUT. Chapter 1. The Heroes. The heroes are called Stone Man, the Fire Lamp, Stretch Arm, and the Disappearing Woman. That's very wrong, Stuart. It says, they also had friends, one of whom was a lady that got angry a lot, and a little dog called Bonny. That's fucking hilarious, because that was my next door neighbour at the time. Chapter 2. The Ship. The ship was called Nemmo, and it had over 15 buttons. One of the most important buttons was the one for steering the ship, and if that button broke, they had a steering wheel. And Stretch Arm was the pilot, and the rest were his shipmates, and they were good at fighting. Oh my god. Chapter 3. The Monster. They had a big screen to tell them all about monsters, and once a portal came through the big screen and loads of monsters came through it. Chapter 4. These are short chapters, kid pockets. Chapter 4. The Real Story. The Screen. The monsters were big, fierce things. The first monsters growled, "Why don't we kill and eat the human beings?" And they ate just about all the people in the world, and the Fantastic Four were about the only ones left to save the world. Thanks for correcting that, Dad. Stretch Arm said, "The portal is just closed. How will we get the monsters out of this world?" And while they were talking, the monsters smashed through their screen and stole all of the computer chips that they had. Chapter 5. The Real Story. The Wormhole. The monsters had to use the microchips for their guns. Their guns fired thousands of bits of lasers, and the lasers could wipe out the entire base, and they never had such a chance to blow up their base. Huh? That grammatically doesn't make much sense, but okay, I was 6. It's fine. One of the monsters was named Cyclops, and the other was Imp. And the Imp had hands that changed into big bazookas. Now, that's because Dad used to let me play Doom as a child. The Fantastic Four invaded the monsters. The Cyclops growled, "Why don't we rip them apart?" So they got their huge ship, which was up in space. Their captain was called Neverland. Neverland growled to Cyclops and said... Tactical. "Why don't you get your massive ship and hit them with your lasers? They'll be down in seconds." Chapter 6. The end of the story. The Victory. The Fantastic Four were shot in the main part of their engines and went down in a flash. The Stone Man was smashed into pieces, and the Fire Lamp managed to stay up in the air as he could fly. The disappearing woman disappeared and dropped onto the monster ship, and Stretch Arm managed to grab the monster ship and save himself. The fire lamp flew and lifted Stretch arm and helped him to get onto the monster's ship. They took their microchips back, yay, and threw them down to Stone Man, who'd put himself back together again. And caught the microchips and put them back in the main computer. And then they all flew down to Earth again, and with the help of Fire Lamp, they switched on the computer and recorded all that had happened when the monsters came out of the wormhole. And the wormhole sucked all the monsters back into the other dimension. The Fantastic Four had won the battle. And the Stone Man had a pizza. The end! Oh my god! Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. This has been Story Time with Pockets. This was literally 6-year-old me with my dad writing something on a computer just because we could. Anyway, see you guys very soon. Bye!